I've always had an infatuation with restaurants. Working in the Bozeman restaurant scene, going to school, Dave's was always that restaurant that everyone wanted to work at, but you needed to know someone to be able to get a job there.
What I've always felt like with my restaurant, when people walk in the door, they're coming into your house. Like, how would you treat your friends when they come to your house for a dinner party? Because that's what we're doing here. We're throwing a dinner party every night for literally now hundreds of people. Entertaining, cooking for people just became a thing I really like to do. It's the Jewish mother in me. It's hard to explain. I guess it's somewhat genetic. As cliche as it sounds, food is love. The love you put into the food really comes out on the plate. It's something that's subtle, but I think somehow it makes a difference, however that works. But yeah, I mean, the whole thing, here I was in the late 80s, early 90s, living in Bozeman, but someone who liked sushi. Tried to experience it when I traveled. And one of the things that I found about the good sushi restaurants that I went to, they were a bit formal. I still was trying to learn, and it felt uncomfortable to ask a question. And they were always very expensive. Being a food guy, I figured I needed to figure out how to make it myself. Trial and error, reading books. It took about 7 years till I finally figured it out. I was formerly a software engineer, and opening a restaurant seemed like a good way to work more and make less money, which seemed like a bad idea. But always had the passion for it. Back in 2002, I was in a position where I needed some work. Decided on a whim to start a sushi takeout business. Didn't really intend it to turn into a sushi restaurant, but when I realized that what was going on, I was like, this is gonna be a place where people feel comfortable. It's okay to not be knowledgeable about this, and it's okay to ask questions. We're not gonna act like we're better than you because we know what nigiri means and you don't. Like, we're gonna teach you. Aloha shirts, it became my uniform. It feels like a party. While being very serious about my job and my business, I had to be there a lot. If I was gonna be there, I should be also having a good time. You can work hard and have a good time while making people feel welcome, comfortable. I'd love to sit here and tell you that I was a marketing genius and that I knew Bozeman, Montana was ready for sushi. I didn't. I was just doing what I like to do. I remember, I think it was about 3 years in. It was a winter night, and it was cold, and it was snowing. I was behind the sushi bar, and I look outside, 30 people standing out there. And I thought to myself, wow, there's people standing out in the snow waiting to come into my restaurant to eat cold food. The hard work and the passion really paid off. I was making the product that I thought was good. It turns out, I think other people agreed with me that it was pretty good. In those days, I was, in that building more or less 24/7. So I knew the people's faces and they knew mine. It becomes a bit of a family. Whether it's me or the sushi rollers or the dishwashers or the servers, and especially the customers, I think they feel like they're a part of it. That thing that is Dave Sushi. I see people there who have been customers since the beginning. Create a place where people have created memories, families, people have gotten engaged there. That feels pretty special. Sorry, that's gonna be embarrassing. That makes me pretty happy that, create something that, there's all these people that feel that they're a part of. So it's pretty cool.
Dave and I still joke around about what it took for me to be able to actually work at Dave Sushi, and that was hey, I had to buy the restaurant, I guess. business partner and I organized a meeting with Dave about potentially consulting in a restaurant in Bismarck, North Dakota with us. And he more steered the conversation towards, well, why don't you just buy Dave Sushi from me?
I've done my time. Partners came on about 6 years ago. Transitioned over time for, me doing less and less, and them doing more and more. Working myself out of a job. Now, I'm kind of the figurehead. My biggest role is quality control as a customer. Turns out the one thing I'm good at is being Dave, so that's all I have to do now for that.
We kept the transaction very quiet. We were worried that there was going to be a false perception of the quality changing, the customer service changing. I want to say even to this day, there's still people that don't know that Dave sold the restaurant, so I think we did a pretty good job. Dave and I have a very close relationship, just a great mentor. At this point, it feels like the community's restaurant. It defines Bozeman in a way. We believe by just focusing on what we're doing in its original location, that feeling when you walk in there, we believe makes it the restaurant that it is. Continuing to just zero in on that. Our customers are expecting more of us, and for us, it's a fun challenge to meet.
They have all of their eyes on all the right things. I eat there often enough that I don't necessarily think about it every time, but my wife kind of notices it more often. She'll say something like, you started this. This is like your thing. I'm like, yeah, but these guys have got it now.
I still eat at Dave Sushi almost once a week now. Most restaurants that I've been a part of, you just kind of get a little bit tired of the food. Just as exciting going in there now as it was the first times I went in there. So yeah, it's crazy.
Again, it's pretty cliche, but I think it's really true. Food is love, and it's fun to feed people.